In order to set the stage for you, I need to establish a couple things. So at the time, I was about 18, just got out of high school, and I need to write my Common App essay in order to see how I can get into college. And I wrote about none other than, you guessed it, YouTubers. Not talking about my own experiences doing YouTube or anything, but about how oftentimes you can get completely disappointed or blindsided by the fact that YouTubers and content creators, period, are in fact people with their own private lives or series of redacteds that they may still be associating with. And it gets really complicated. I remember some specific points I made about, well, again, them being all just people, and to not really put those content creators on some kind of pedestal higher than thou, because you're just going to be completely bound for disappointment if you do something like that. So for me, this was why am I getting teamed on again? Why does this happen? This always happens whenever I try recording. Back to the whole point of like not putting people on a pedestal, you really gotta level yourself. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be inspired by people, but I'm saying that you can be, but you shouldn't let the inspiration be the only thing that guides your perception on a certain person. Like famous YouTubers, especially Minecraft ones, have a sort of like, there are two options. Either one, they become completely legendary and they end up, you know, defining the landscape and becoming remembered for generations to come, or they pass 1 million subscribers and a fucking like green goblin appears on their shoulder that's just like martyr. And after that aforementioned 1 million sub milestone, we're just suddenly a bunch of anonymous buffaloes and crabs looking at their expose doc written about them. So recently, I had heard about or read about the allegations of Skeppy, long beloved Hypixel YouTuber, Dream SMP creator. I don't know what else he was known for, honestly. I didn't really keep up with him like that. Or at least past his initial surge of popularity. God, in 2018, I think it was 2018, 2019, when like Skeppy was first blowing up. I just remember that being marked as an era of Hypixel YouTubers just being incredibly loud and hyperactive, and it would just have you like watching Technoblade hours later, sucking your fucking thumb as a palate cleanser. I just remember that specific era, and obviously me at the time being a kid and, you know, wanting to be like a YouTuber as well, and seeing the success he was getting. Obviously, me and my other YouTuber buddies tried imitating what he did to a certain extent, obviously to not very much success considering, well, I'm here doing videos on this channel, to enough of a degree to say that it was inspired, you know? That we were inspired by him. Like, you need to unambiguously support the voices of the victims involved, especially since there are multiple cases of the things that he has done, things that I'm not quite going to go over in this video because I feel like it would be kind of disrespectful to do so. I still definitely feel like that there is a bigger lesson to be learned about how, I guess, creators are perceived and how to level your own inspiration. I feel like especially as I've, you know, grown up from, you know, watching Minecraft YouTube when I was like 11 to still vaguely keeping up with it, but more so from like the Twitter scene as like as an adult. The more and more I see YouTubers I watched or barely even heard of get exposed, the more I'm like, damn, I should really hard pivot to the Pokemon community. Because at most, those kids over there just get outed for like transphobia and they're weeded out of the community incredibly quickly. But in the Minecraft community, those people would definitely pull the trigger on like a third world country if it meant a good enough YouTube title. Fucking I survived 100 days in the Philippines type shit. You know who else survived 100 days in the Philippines? The Filipino population. I don't really understand the thought process that goes into getting the platform. I had a teacher actually that once said, it was a course I'd taken, it was called the Self-Presentation in the Age of YouTube, and what they had said was that no normal person wants to become a content creator, and that's something that I have not held very close necessarily, but like something I've always thought about, where it's just people can often be very theatrical, very not driven by the same like correct morals as many other people. When it comes to being inspired by these people and like I guess my own inspiration, I feel like I've waned a bit over time in terms of what I feel like I'm actually inspired by. I'm not really too sure about it. Because on the one hand, it's like, I do enjoy the vibes and the videos of like a lot of people that I put out, but at the same time, I don't really feel the sort of same connection that I once did to their content as I would have as like a kid or a more naive person when it comes to like social media and YouTube and stuff like that. I just feel like it's become a different place, and I feel like it might just be, I don't know. I feel like I've changed interest or like pivoted what content I'm like interested in watching so much to the point that I just don't even, it's like I want to like emulate the feel of like YouTubers videos that I like, but I also don't really see myself wanting to be like, oh, I want to be just like this person, or I want to be just like this person, or this person is the one thing that truly keeps me going, or whatever. I mean, obviously those are hyperbolic, and people's inspirations can be phrased in like a variety of different ways. You become especially jaded over time when it comes to the constant allegations of creators that are either associated with favorites of yours or were favorites of yours. It's incredibly disheartening. And I think that's another lesson where you're just kind of like, you really just have to be like, can you please die devising? Jesus Christ. That guy played like a goofball. It's so strange wanting to be a content creator, but also not really. Like, I have influences for sure, but I can't really say I have really, like, that hard of inspirations. Apart from, like, you know, people that obviously show that they're good people. Who knows what the fuck could be going on behind the scenes, of course. That's why you have to level yourself. You have to completely, like you can be inspired by someone, but you have to make sure that you're just not putting them on a pedestal. Like, obviously, there are YouTubers that really haven't had those kind of, like, controversies or anything, or have always been on, like, I guess the right side of content creation history. There's so many, like, people that have just been in it for the wrong reasons, or people that have just... I'm having trouble finding the words. They're just wrong, you know? I think that's the most simple way to put it without, like, overcomplicating things. They're just wrong, and it feels wrong, and it just feels awful every single time a new set of, you know, allegations, or a new set of, whenever new stories or allegations come out about someone, it's genuinely sickening. The first YouTuber I ever, like, watched or subscribed to or felt inspired by was Purple Rodri, and I never knew about what he had done until 2 years after he had gotten, like, exposed from it. I was just, like, looking at his channel one day, and I saw that he hadn't been uploading, and I was just like, oh, he hasn't really done anything. What's going on like, his Twitter? So I searched up his name on Twitter, and he, like, did some awful things while he was drunk. And that was just shattering. Completely heartbreaking. And I truly don't know if there's a way to separate the allegations or, like, things that are awful things that a content creator has done with the indulging or, like, consumption of their content. Why am I lagging so much? I truly don't know if there's, like, a good enough separation for that, because it feels, I guess on a YouTube perspective, it feels much more personal than, like, a movie being directed from by a problematic director, or, like, an artist, or, like, listening to an artist's old music before they became incredibly problematic. I don't know if there's a separation from that. And there probably doesn't need to be, but there probably is, or there probably isn't. I don't think there's an objective right or wrong answer. I don't think there's an objective right or wrong answer. It just all comes down to what the other person thinks. Because I don't think, I don't think just, like, I don't know if most people would think that, like, you know, listening to a problematic artist's, like, old material is, like, a moral failing or whatever, but at the same time, it easily could be. I don't really have any stake. Please let me know. Please absolutely let me know and have a discussion about this. But, like, I don't know, man. It's so weird. And in the case of Skeppy, who was such a, I guess, massive figure in the Minecraft community, both before the pandemic, after the pandemic, and especially during, I can only imagine the amount of heartbreak and betrayal that the people, not only that were directly involved in his shitty actions, but also the people that genuinely looked up to him or still ran, like, stan accounts of his or whatever, like, in his name. Is it still the same thing? Like, if they keep their accounts that same way, then it's more supporting the idea of the thing that once inspired them or that they once liked before it became problematic? Or is it just something, or maybe they just got lazy and they hadn't changed it yet? I don't know. I could just be overthinking things completely. But it's really interesting. Inspiration, to me, feels very, very volatile. And it's difficult for me to really quantify what has remained in inspiration throughout my life. I feel like it's become less about individual people and more about maybe the ideas of certain things regarding the things that I want to do. And that is the thing that will, like, really drive me forward. Like, things like having a good, well-meaning community, or being able to share not only my, but the people who are important to me as, like, voices and works and stuff like that. That's something I would really love to be able to have eventually. But even then, you still gotta be realistic about it. And when it comes to being inspired by people, again, you really, you absolutely need to level yourself in a sort of, like, never meet your hero sort of thing. where you need to remember these people are people. They are all flawed individuals. Absolutely no one is perfect. I hope my thoughts were at all coherent in this. They might be, they might not be. I'm not too sure. I won't know until I'm editing, but I hope the message of this video is at least, like, somewhat understandable. I don't fucking know. I didn't even, this is how you know I was way too focused on, like, talking about different things, because I've only sworn, like, 3 times, I think. But that should be it. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.